Okay, class. So this is going to be the procedure for plate number 3, which is the in-betweening. So what you have here right now is our clean up plate. So it is now finished. So as you can see, all of my keyframes are done. So they are now finished. No, I'm done with the drawing. So what I have done, or what I have done so far, is I have removed the layers. So there's no more need for them. Next thing is I will remove the extended exposures. The extended exposures are the ones or the frames that are next to the keyframe. For example, if this is keyframe 1, next to it is an extended exposure. So it is a default in Harmony. It always provides an extended exposure. Okay, so what we will do is we will remove those frames without keyframe markings or without the dots. So we will just select them and then press delete on the keyboard. That's it. There. So I will now be left with only the keyframes. And when you have that, when you press the play button, a strobing effect will happen. Okay, so with this, you can now start doing your in-betweens. I will save my work. So I am still saving at plate number 2 because this is the cleanup. Next thing that I will do is I will now go to File and then I will choose Save As. Then I will go to our subject folder, which is at the desktop, and then I will go to my 203 subject folder. That is it. I will just go here and choose plate. Sorry, I will type in plate 03. So that's just it. And then I will press save. And we are now in plate number 3. Next thing to do is start the actual in-betweens. So as you can see here, this is going to be your in-between frame. They are between two keyframes, right? So what we will do now is I will just turn on my onion skin so that we will be able to see both keyframes. Onion skin on. So if you are not seeing your onion skin tab here, you can click the plus and then you can press the onion skin. It is alphabetically arranged. No? So you will see it there. Next, you can also do an onion skin here. Click it here to turn it on, and then you will choose the advanced onion skin. Okay, so what is the difference between a, a regular onion skin or the default onion skin and an advance. So in this, a common onion skin or a default onion skin will only show you two frames or two keyframes. Okay, so this is going to be the opacity control for those two keyframes. If I drag it down, it will be invisible. If I drag it up, it will be very visible. Next are the colors. The red means it is the one at the left. Okay, so remember, this is your track needle. This shows which frames are you on. So if you are, or if your track needle is on frame number 2, it will not show anything. I'll turn off the onion skin, for example. So it will not show you anything. But if you are on here at keyframe 1, it will show you keyframe 1. That is your track needle. The track needle has a range, or sorry, the track needle has, or the track needle is here in the onion skin. It is at the center. So that is also your track needle. Now, I will turn on the opacity control. So if this is your track needle, it is now showing that this frame is on the red side of frames. So that means that is your frame at the left. So that is your previous keyframe. And then this frame, which is at the right side of frames or at the green side of frames, that means it's your next keyframe. So it is now showing you two frames, two keyframes. Next thing here is this. This is the range now of the onion skin. This indicator here. So if I will move this next, so it will show me three keyframes, which I do not need. I will go back to frame number 2, and then I will adjust the range of the keyframe. Sorry, the range of the onion skin. I will just click it and drag it up to here so that it will only show me two frames. See? I will also adjust this, the previous range, there. So now, if I am here, I will only see two frames. Two keyframes, I'm sorry, two keyframes. And then I'll go to frame number 2. Now, it is time to do the in-betweens. What we are seeing again are the two keyframes in different color previews or in different onion skin color. So what you need to do now, using that as reference, you will just use your drawing tools. It is up to you which drawing tools you will use, but it's important that you use the same size. For example, in this drawing, I have used, or in this keyframes cleanup, I have used a polyline. And then I'll go to my properties. The polyline size is number 5. So I have chosen my tool. I have chosen the size. The color is still black or the same. It should be for black. So the next thing to do now is start the cleanup. I will just, for example, select an area first, for example this, and then I will just trace an in-between over them. Oops, let me go here, back to my select tool, let me check. I think I forgot that the size is not number 5, the size is number 10. If I click this, I'll go back to keyframe 1. If I select it, I'll go to my tools properties, and then I'll just drag here. It's number 7. So I will go back to my in-between frame, and then I will just delete it, and then I will just go to my polyline tool and set this to number 7. After I set that to number 7, I will just move there. I'll press back my select tool, and then as you can see, I have done my first in-between line. So now the next thing to do is continue. I can also use my contour editor to slightly edit, if needed, my lines, just to make sure that they are really in between my keyframes. I'll go to the polyline tool, then I will make it overlap. And I'll go here, up, and then I will just go back to my contour editor, select this portion, and then I will just adjust it. Mhm. I'll just adjust here, drag it there. I'll just click this, drag it a bit, and that's it. I can go back to my onion skin, and I will adjust the opacity to a little bit faded amount, so that I can only clearly see my in-between lines. And then, when I have this, I will just press letter T, or shortcut for the cutter tool, hold T, and then drag across those overlaps so that they are removed. So now I will just trace the other eye, going back to polyline tool, still checking the settings, it's the same, it's number 7, or the size is 7, and then I'll just drag this, zooming in, making sure. You need to be sure of your in-betweens so that they will be consistent. Polyline. Again, I will do an overlap. No, So I am not worried. I do not initially, no, draw accurate or precise lines. I just draw them in an initial position, and then I will just edit them with my contour editor so that they can be in the right position afterwards. Next, just go to polyline tool, draw this line, make sure they are in between. Back here. So it is repetitive. It the varies of, sorry, levels of difficulty in doing an in between depends on the scene required to you. So now I have this. I'll go cutter, cutter, and there it is. Now I will turn off the onion skin. I will go here, turn it off, and now I will just test moving it. So I'll start here, the track needle. So as you can see now, the animation of the eye is a lot more smoother because of the in-betweens. Alright, so the next thing that I will do, turn on again the onion skin, and then I will just go here and start doing some in-betweens, polyline tool. So it is very important that you keep your lines in the middle of your keyframe lines. You don't have to draw them precisely, no, immediately. You can just, let's say, establish them. For example, here, I will just establish the points where they would be and the lines, no? And then I will start my editing. I'll go to my contour editor, and then I'll just click or control click to add a line, a dot here, and I'll just drag it because those are points that I can control, and the curvatures, no, I can handle with that anchor point. I am using the arrow keys in moving this, and then here, and also here. I'll just move this there. So now, let's say that is the portion of the head. In some cases, for example, this particular shape, this is a shape, an oblong, no, or an ellipse. It will require consistency to do an in between here. So what I will do is I'll turn off first the onion skin. I'll go to the keyframe, either keyframe 1 or keyframe 2. I'll just go. And then I will select it using my selection tool. After I have that selected, I will just choose edit, copy. Sorry, copy. After I copy that, I go here. Here in the in between, I will just go turn on once more my onion skin. And then I will just edit, paste. And then I will carefully move this to its in-between position. There. Now I have said this is a geometric object. That is why, or geometric shape, that is why it requires consistency. No? But it is not advisable for you to copy and paste drawings as you do in betweens. No? Only those that require or that are particular shapes and require consistency, because it will be very obvious once you play the in-betweens or once you play the track needle. Now, I will turn off the onion skin and then carefully check. See, now that part of the head animation is starting to get smooth. Oops, need to clean this. T for trim or cutter. And then, see, turning on my, huh? Oops, this is coming out a little too high. And then this one is missing an angle. And that's it. Let's turn it off. See? So it is now becoming smoother. So that is going to be your procedure for the in-betweens. Okay, so now your task is to finish all of your in-between frames. Remember, the in-between is always starting between keyframes. Even if, for example, even if you have more than one keyframe between you. So for example, if you have, let's say, 5 frames between you, you will always, for example, I will just delete this keyframe, delete. So if you have something like this, you have 3 keyframes, you have 3 in between frames. So you will always start in the middle of it. Okay? And you will just adjust your onion skin range. Okay? So let me undo, to have my keyframes back. There. Saving my work. So now, that is how you do your in-betweens. Thanks for your time.